Good evening, everybody. It's such a pleasure. Uh, and I just love this full house. And I just love it when we have so many ladies and very few men. And I can understand the reason why. Uh, Luke is an amazing guy. I met him just now, just about 10 minutes ago. And I thought he was a college student walking in. So the calmness and the fitness speaks for itself. And his policy or psychological work area of every breath you take. It reminds me of a song by the Cops, the group called Police, where they said, every breath you take, every move you make, Luke will be right there watching you. I'm just adding it on because it's so amazing. I just want to rewind a little back, Luke, before we get into the Q&A. People generally get into fitness, people get into calmness, people get into, whatever. The young guys, some want to look good, some want to be slim and trim, some want to attract women, so they're looking smarter. In your case, if I have to rewind back, what made you get into this regime of health, fitness, calmness, and the way you are going about today? Because there can be only two things. Either you were into it from the beginning, you just want to be the guy who was go-getting and fit, or you're a little overweight and you want to slim down. So just a little bit before we start off, how did your journey start?
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see all of you here today. Thanks for being here for the session. So to answer your question, no, I don't have a health story where I was sick or obese and I had to lose weight. I think we had a culture of health in our family. So remember my mom putting a carrot stick and a cucumber stick in all of our lunch boxes. My dad encouraged sports and a lot of outdoor timing and nature and stuff. But I think when I studied the first subject of nutrition when I was in hotel management,
Wow.
and then further moved into anatomy, I think anatomy actually fascinated me. How the human body works, how the mind and body connects. All of us look at a heart problem as a heart, a liver as a liver. But when you study anatomy, you understand everything is interconnected. So I think that awe of the human body is what really got my interest into the subject. And then as people started to fall sick, it was a time in India where there was more awareness. And a lot of people had access to better food. We had more gyms. We had awareness about exercise. But yet, India was getting sicker and sicker. Even now, there's a lot of awareness, but we're still the diabetic capital in the world, cancers too with cardiovascular. So the question's always like, when we know everything, when we have everything, we have great medicine today, very different from 10 years ago. We have better chemotherapies, better radiation, but why are people falling sicker and sicker? We can't really blame the air like it's changed over the last few years because people have been sick before that. That's an added issue today. So I think I'm always in awe about if there's so much intelligence in the human body, why is it breaking down on most people all the time? So that's when I think it's always been that awe and curiosity. Why do some people recover better than some people? Why are some babies born with a tumor? Why do some senior citizens who have not looked after their health live to 97 and 98 and 99? So these are points.
Sometimes it's really strange. I know a gentleman who's really a chain smoker, and he's nearing 97 and perfect. Mm-hmm. While, you look at other chain smokers, by the time they get into a 60 level, they have lung problems, issues and all. In today's world, it's high-paced, it's high speed, data all over, cell phones all over, no time to communicate, no time to talk. Everybody's in the race, whether it be career, whether it be feeling down, whether it be feeling out. I definitely know one thing. If you're healthy, only then can you be happy. If you're healthy and happy, then only can you be successful. So health comes always first, and people don't realize it. But in today's world, if you go to see, people are full of tension. People are anxious, anxiety, and everything is hit. Previously, it was always a suggestion. Yaar, thoda calm ho jao. Be calm, be relaxed. It's important to be calm and relaxed. Don't get overworked. But today, it's actually, the calmness has become a prescription, literally. Mm-hmm. If you go to any doctor, he'll say, forget about anything. I need you to be tension-free. I need you to be calm. I need you to sleep well. So more than saying take this medicine and that medicine, most of the doctors are getting into reality of talking about calmness, talking about being there in terms of that's the best way they can kind of control, their blood pressure or their whatever hikes and spikes they have. And people are prescribing calmness, not suggesting it. What is your take on that today?
So when doctors keep telling you, calm down, you may get a heart attack, it's actually true. Because in medical science, you study a term called homeostasis. What does homeostasis mean? Every doctor knows, every health professional should know about it, that when the body's calm, everything's working for you in the body, which means your pressure is regulated, your blood sugars are regulated. You can even be eating a dessert or something really unhealthy, but you're doing it with joy and not with guilt or, oh no, this is going to make me fat, this is going to make me sick. Because when you're stressed out and you're eating, you're out of homeostasis. So it's a medical term today. Every cardiologist knows, everyone knows that even the body will heal better when it's in a state of calm. So every surgeon will always tell a patient, I need you to go home and rest for 2 weeks after your surgery. They'll give you painkillers and everything else, but they all know that the rest will actually be your biggest recovery, because only when you're calm, your body can actually repair, it can heal, wounds can get better, surgical cuts can heal. So that's why today it's being prescribed, because somewhere the medical world also realized that medicines can only treat the symptom. They can never really make you fully recover. So along with the medicine, you have to also be calm, you have to change your lifestyle. And if we also see the human mind is actually wired to search for calm. If I ask all of you today, why do you want to earn money? Why do you want to grow in your career? So you'll say, oh, I have a family, I want to spend. Yeah, but why? Why do you want to care about your family? Everything comes down, if you keep asking why, it comes down to because every human is chasing peace and safety. Everyone wants money to buy something, but also as a security that I'm safe. So every human soul and every human mind is wired to search for safety and calm. We're wired to come back down to that state. You look at a baby crying after a tantrum, what comes? The calm. It comes after that. We all enjoy people who are calm around us. You have one angry person, they can change the energy of the entire audience right now. So it's our nature to come back to a state of calm, and that's why we have the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. Fight and flight and rest and digest. So we're all wired. Anything that you're doing is to come back. Why do people want to get high on drugs and alcohol? They're going to be calm in that state. It's the quickest way. But after that, there's going to be turmoil. So if you see, everyone is chasing calm and peace. So it comes down to that. So it's a human wiring, and it's connected with our biology.
Human wiring and connected with the bio lineup. A major problem now these days, except for the disciplined people, most of us don't get enough sleep. Or we are so heavy duty with work, we find it fashionable to sleep at 2 o'clock and get up at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. And we've been told the ideal sleeping time, for the body to rework on itself, it's about from 11 p.m. it kind of starts reworking on itself, so about 2, 3 o'clock. But no one in this world, about 80% of the population, are not getting enough sleep. Why is that so? I know there's tension, there's so much on the head, but even mobile phones are kind of keeping us hooked on, till late in the night. And a lot of people out here, and I'm sure some of them right now are on their mobile phones also, WhatsApping, taking pictures, sending it to their friends, etc. See, I can see all the girls smiling. They're so happy. You know what? Those cameras zoomed right into you. I'm getting no zoom, but you're getting the maximum zoom. So you being the person who suggests calmness and a lot about fitness, etc., what is your thought on this? No sleep. A lot of people. I'm sure when you were much younger, you also must have been a go-getter and said, "Chalo yaar, baad mein soega." Let me get free time, then I'll get to sleep, or let me finish my work. This is the current generation who is not getting enough sleep. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, I wouldn't want to blame the current generation, because the generation above that has created most of the pain and suffering for the generation below that. It's simple. The generation above has tried to get people addicted to social media, and they've done a damn good job, right? The above generation has created the current generation of junk and ultra-processed food and all of that stuff. So I don't blame this generation. I blame us if we don't open our eyes and wake up and make a change. Then it's our fault. So the whole point is people are getting less sleep for two reasons. One is we think that sleep is not important. We'll sleep tomorrow. We'll make up for it later. It's okay in certain ages of your life. Like, I don't expect a teenager to come home and sleep at 10 o'clock. I don't expect them. They can sleep at 2 in the morning. They'll wake up at 11. Parents will be pissed off. That's okay. That's the phase the parents and the teenager goes through, but they will be fine with that sleep. But as they grow up into their mid-20s, they themselves will slowly bring their timings down to 1, 2. It's a cycle. But the point is, if we choose to lessen our sleep because we become victims of OTT platforms, etc., it is affecting us. So everyone has a choice. Also, it is true anatomically and biologically, they say that 2 hours before midnight has benefits. But I want to take away that fear from everyone because some of you all, it may not be possible to sleep that way. What about pilots? They don't always sleep at 10 o'clock. What about the armed forces? What about doctors? What about, they don't sleep that way. Are they all sick and unhealthy? No. So the point is there's always something which is ideal. We can aspire to want to sleep early, and if you can, do it. But if you have to sleep at 12, midnight, or you have to sleep at 1 in the morning, the important thing is to make sure you get your full cycle of sleep. You can't say, I'm going to watch television at 2 and then wake up at 6 to go to work. Now that's a problem. So yes, there's always an ideal situation for everyone's life, but I don't want to make that statement because it puts fear that, hey, I'm not doing the right thing, and it may not be practical. Some people can sleep at 9. Like my bedtime is 9:30 because I can't function without sleep the next day, and it's always been that way, so I'm actually the worst person to go out partying with. Although I was born and brought up in Goa, and we only had beach parties that started at sunrise and ended at sunset and ended at sunrise. And those were amazing ones. But the whole point is we change. Our biological clocks change all the time. So the point is we have to ask ourselves, is it a priority for you? When you make it a priority, you'll start to take little action points towards it. If it's not a priority, why will you do it? Right? Think of anything that you value in your life. You know, why do you value it? Because you've given it a certain amount of priority in your life. Like, how many of you have children over here? Do you all need to be motivated to love your children and look after them? I always hope no one puts up their hands when I ask this question. So no hands up. Why? Because you've assigned a certain value to your child. Now imagine when you assign value to some aspect of your health that you want to improve. Whether it's your sleep. Now because you've made it valuable in your mind, you'll start to revolve and make a little changes to make that sleep happen. So I always say, because we deal mainly with a lot of cancer patients, people who never believe in exercise, never believe in all of this, and they say, I'm never going to do this in this lifetime. When they get diagnosed with a disease, their goals change in less than a minute. I'm willing to do everything because there's a threat. So we have the capability to make the changes, but we're not inspired enough to do it. So yes, sleep will always be your most important paradigm. Like, I'm a nutritionist. I should be talking about nutrition and writing books on nutrition. But I can tell you right now, the world doesn't need more books on nutrition or exercise, because most of the people that we see and most of the patients that our doctors see, they will say are sick today because of chronic stress. Oncologists will say that I don't no longer see a tumor, I see a stressed out body. Cardiologists will say I don't see a heart with blockages, I see a stressed out heart. So we decided to write this book to teach people that while your nutrition and exercise is important, your recovery and your rest is the most important. So when you look at your role models who are cricket players, football players, the best of the best, the one thing that they will never compromise is sleep. Is sleep. And that's the reason why we're always asking people, calm down, let your body heal you. Calm down, you can enjoy life better. Calm down, everything around you seems to be a little bit simpler. You mentioned that we're caught in a rat race. And why? Where does the idea come from? Social media, thinking that success is about running faster. You know, I'll give you a difference. I was speaking at an event yesterday. There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. You know, you're rich when you're earning more, you can buy the things you want, you have visible success, you can walk into a shop. It may be expensive, but you know you can buy it because you have income coming in next month and stuff. You're rich. When you're rich, that comes at the cost of your health. You may be improving your richness, but you're losing your health. You don't have freedom. You don't have time for your relationships, for yourself, for your family. Now, wealthy, you have a lot of money, your bank balance is growing, but you also have time, freedom, peace, good relationships. So you see there's a big difference. So you have to decide whether you want to be rich or you want to be wealthy. The richest people who lose their health, do you really think they're rich? They're not. So it's a big, everything is a mindset change. You have to decide you're in the rat race. I always say, okay, be in the rat race if you want, but at the end of the race, you're still a rat and you'll be a sick one. So you got to decide how you want to run the rat race. You want to slow down, you want to run fast, run fast. I love running fast, but I'm making myself bulletproof. If I want to take on more, I got to make myself healthier. I want to see more patients in a day, I need to sleep at 9:30 in the night. You know, so you can be aspirational in life, but you got to, like athletes, they train harder, they can train harder because they eat better and they sleep more. So you see, it's a complete cycle. Now you have to decide how you want to, you know, make your life goal and plan. But never at the cost of your health. It is not success. Whatever you have, if you've lost your health along, you can rebuild it. But that is not the definition of success.
Absolutely. Like, you know, if you're healthy, you're happy. If you're healthy and happy, you're successful.
Yeah.
So people jump to the success in the beginning, and then they feel that success and money will get them the happiness,
Yeah.
but no concentration on the health. Rightly said. See, your book, Rao, marks a clear shift from your earlier work, you know, which was small wins every day, the magic weight loss pill, back to the roots. The focus is from the plate to the mind. You know, it's not just only about eating well or, you know, having the right nutrition. It's all about the mind. You know, the mind works like magic. If you're calm, it works well. So was this a gradual shift, or was it something which made it happen when you realized, ki, you know, it's not just about the good food you eat. It's not about you going, you're jogging, you're running, you're exercising. You know, that nearly everyone's kind of doing it to look good, look healthy. But looking healthy and looking good is not the success story.
Yeah.
Being healthy and being properly sound from the body is the success story. So what made you shift from the plate to the mind?
So, you know, sometimes people don't get better. You can give them the best diets in the world and they can work out. How many of you hear of fit people getting cancer, healthy people getting sick? And you'll find that they're either sleep deprived, they're super in the gym, excellent food, or they have deep emotional stress. The research has always been there. It goes back 20 years, but it's never come to the limelight. The reason is, I'm going to share that research with you, because you can't make money out of it. You can make a lot of money out of nutrition and exercise through products, supplements, gyms, diets, etc. But it's not solved the problem of our country. It's not solving the problem in the world. So the research, because we always realize that when our clients get calmer, when they start to focus on their mental health, there's magic in their physical health. It happens. The latest research, which has always been there, but we're bringing it out right now, and all of you all have access to AI models, etc., etc., you should do this. It's actually, it's liberating as well as it's scary. You can have the best exercise and nutrition in the world, but if you are chronically stressed, now I use the word chronic, so stress here and there is not going to cause a problem. Chronic, you're stressed all the time. And sleep deprivation will negate your efforts of exercise and nutrition. It will negate it. There's still critical points of your health. Now, look at it this way. Let's say you don't have access to the best food. You can't get the best diet. Your workouts are, you know, okay, you can just walk, maybe not go to the gym. But if you focus on the two above, you will be way healthier than most other people. So actually, how do you make money out of building a business model around stress and sleep? Not much. Few products here, a book once in a way. But the point is, we have to understand today that we need to flip the model. So I'll give you a simple example. I have some people that I meet, women and men. They don't have the best figure or physique. They may have, they're pleasantly plump. And sometimes I look at them and I have a very critical mind, because when you see so many patients, you can look at someone and say, oh, may have diabetes, may have thyroid, etc. I have women who are way overweight, they're healthy weight, and men. Their reports are clean. Not a single parameter out of place. And now my curious mind wakes up. I want to know how. Because everyone on Instagram screaming, obesity is the root cause of cancer, obesity is the root cause of diabetes, etc. While it is on paper, it's inflammatory, etc., 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 it makes a lot of sense. Why do so many people like this don't have any problem? There's one thing, they're happy people. They don't care about what other people say. They know how to make light of life. They don't care about validation, attention, and their medical reports. So like you were saying, happiness is so, so powerful. Now, at the same time, we have a lot of models who come to us, actresses, people who are super fit, etc., and they have medical issues. And my first question to them is in the mind, highly stressed. So you see, we're focusing on the wrong things. It's important, nutrition, it's important your exercise. But the magic is going to be how, when you're stressed, how quickly can you come back to calm? You don't have to be calm all the time. The world won't work if everyone's calm all the time, right? We need some amount of, aggression to build, models, industries, etc., all of that stuff. But you got to come back to calm, come back to calm. So when you look at every religion that exists around the world, it talks about work is worship, Monday to Saturday, but Sunday is your rest day. Every religion talks about work is worship, but rest and rest. Now, we omitted the rest and we kept on working, and we wonder what's breaking down in the system. So when you look at spirituality, spirituality is not about being calm all the time. It's about you will get stressed, you will get tested by life, but how quickly can you come back to calm? How quickly? That is the magic. That is the magic. How quickly you come back to calm. So all of this is actually in your mind, and the solutions are in your mind. So please, while you focus on your nutrition and exercise, if you can ace this. I'll tell you about some of my longest living patients, 104, 103, 101. The 102 just passed away a month ago, and that was unfortunately a road accident, not even old age. And then I have 97, 98, 82, 81. All of these people are not physically fit. And they've not always been physically fit throughout their life. Some of them have gone through bypass, etc., etc. But every one of them have one commonality. They're just happy people. So I know life is difficult, and your question will be, how can I be happy? Yes, but how can you also be angry and stressed so long? That's a question you have to ask yourself. So when you look at Instagram, everyone's hustling, everyone's grinding, everyone's what? And then at extreme, everyone's doing yoga, everyone's being spiritual. Extremes are not necessary. Remember homeostasis. How quickly can I come back? So you're stuck in a toxic environment. How do you get out of the environment? So there are many ways of looking at stress, but it is in the mind. It starts with the
Absolutely.
mind.
And your book, 75 Practices, it may sound overwhelming, 75 practices, but it's so easily accessible and thought-provoking. If you had to choose out of these 75, the 3 top practices, one can adapt or adopt to kind of get into the sphere of calmness and being relaxed. Because, today it's so nice. Everybody's going to hear. Maybe 2 days later, they'll get back to the grind.
Yeah.
It'll happen. It's a normal part of life. So from your book of 75 practices, where do you feel, which would be those 3 or 4 practices which could actually help the audience which is watching you right now on the digital pages of Friends FM, which is also watching you on the digital pages of AKLF, plus the audience right in front of you? What are those 3 or 4 practices you would suggest coming out from your book, 75 Practices?
So the beauty of, since calm or homeostasis is a natural part of the body's intelligence, the solutions are actually free. You never have to spend money until you get damaged with chronic stress. Then it gets expensive. So the first one is something that everyone has right now, your breath. Right now, you can de-stress. When I say de-stress, it doesn't mean your problems will magically disappear, right? But if you're stressed out right now and you want to come back down to homeostasis, what would you do? Your breath.
Let's do it. Just tell them what to do. I'm just curious.
4 seconds of an inhale or 3 seconds and double the exhale. By doing this, you biologically and chemically send a message to your brain. Okay, I'm not going to get into the science. Let's keep it simple. The stress hormone comes down. That simple. You're breathing, which is why when I did my Red Cross training for first aid, because as I told you, I was very, very in awe of anatomy, and I wanted to see how accident victims can be put into homeostasis immediately. The one thing we learned, whatever the degree of the injury is, the first thing that a paramedic will do is, can anyone tell me? Put on an oxygen mask. Irrespective, whether you need oxygen or not, because oxygen is the first sign of trying to regain homeostasis in the body. So your breath, the simplest, now you can complicate it. You can get 50 different pranayams. They're all good, but the simplest one would be, wherever you are, inhale and double the exhale through your nostrils. If you're extremely stressed and like you're angry and you can feel yourself trembling, then the exhale will be through your mouth, open mouth, increase your surface area. Now you build on that. Some people like Anulom Vilom, some people like left nostril, right. It's up to you, but breath is the most scientific and the easiest way. Now, meditation, no one's going to, in that point, think, oh, I should meditate right now. No. The second thing, which is the most powerful thing, at that particular point, if you're in the ability, walk. Just move. Start moving your body. When you're stationary, because the body, when it goes into fight and flight mode, which is sympathetic, everyone talks about fight and flight, but there's one more part. It's fight, flight, and freeze. So when people have a nervous breakdown, or when there's like an extreme shock of bad news, people freeze. They freeze completely. That's a medical issue as well. So that's how the body is designed. So you want to move as much as you can. You want to move. So a lot of cardiologists say, if you ever think you have a heart attack coming on, what's the first thing that you should do if you're alone? Cough. Cough. Fake cough. Movement. All of these things are so important to create a stress. So your breath is the best. 2, the third one is something which is a huge one. Have someone that you can express to. Vent. Doesn't have to be your partner, doesn't have to be whatever, but someone who you can. How many of you have been in a situation where you had a friend or a partner or someone who's such a good listener and you could just talk and no interruption, and at the end of it, you just felt it was all gone? Yeah, that is one of the most powerful things. Now, if you're in a situation of stress, you may not have a friend. You start talking to a random stranger, I don't know how that will go for you. But the point is, expression is one of the most powerful ways to de-stress. You can even tell someone, listen, I want to vent. Don't interrupt. Don't give me empathy. Don't give me sympathy. Don't give me solution. Don't say anything. Just listen. And that is one of the most powerful ways to de-stress. The rest are in the book. Yeah, why 75? We want to do 100, but then they said the book would be too thick. We said we do 20 of the top. They said the book would be too small, so we agreed on 75.
Well, yeah. that's a magic number. And talking about, I just like to share 2 minutes. I've been into radio for the last 32 years, and you're talking about listening. Mm-hmm. Very, very important. I remember at 1:30 in the night on my show, I got a call. And the first thing this guy, we take live callers, and the first thing this guy said, Jimmy, I don't want to live anymore. He was talking, and when he was talking, I heard a lot of breeze coming on. So I asked him, I said, why do you want? He said, you see, my dad's a businessman, he's too busy, he has no time for me. My mom's into kitty parties, she has no time for me. And I have a sister who's on her own trip, so I'm feeling very lonely. And there was a lot of noise coming, and I asked him, the next question is a live call at 1:30 in the night. I asked him, I said, where are you? He was standing on the 4th floor of the ledge of his building, ready to jump. I spoke, it's unbelievable on radio. When you speak for too long, people switch off and go to the next station. I spoke to him for 19 minutes.
Wow.
And ultimately, I got him back to his room. Today, he's one of the biggest advocates in the Calcutta High Court. And whenever we meet, he's saying, Jimmy, thanks for listening. That actually saved my life. So, when we think back, we don't listen. We don't have time to listen or time to engage. And rightly said, as you said, you need someone who can just listen. And when you vent it out, you feel more lighter. And this is truly wonderful. But talking about calmness, see, what happens is we only realize, like as you said, we kind of want to do things which are right when we break down or when we fall sick or when something goes wrong. Otherwise, we're not bothered in the least. Life is going on, I'm good, I'm healthy, it's fine. We only get into what we feel we should be doing on advice or whatever when we are not well or something breaks down and say, oh God, we need to do it. Any suggestions? Everybody of us live a life every day. How can they, without just waiting for things to break down, on a regular basis every day, do something or practice something which inculcates this calmness which comes on, and in the long run, maybe today our generation may not be able to do that much, but at least it'll go down to the younger generations to do small little things every day, which kind of gets them into the calmness, the happiness which comes about. Otherwise, it's a rat race, and only when they break down, they say, oh God, I need to go to a nutritionist, I need to do my walking, I need to have good food. Everything comes at that time. By that time, it could be too late. The body could be already damaged. So what are the small things they can do every day to live life in a healthier, calmer, and happier way?
All right, let's open this up to the audience, okay? So why is it that you think you don't look after your health? And if you do, then you don't have to answer it. I mean, any answers. Maybe lack of time, maybe it's not important enough, maybe you're not motivated. What would you say if anyone has anything to say? Yeah. Yeah, they have mic, yeah. Just what comes to your mind? Maybe you're good at 3 things in your health, but maybe you want to get a bit calmer. So what's the thing that stops you? Yeah.
I don't prioritize myself.
You don't prioritize. So it all comes down to making a value proposition. When you make it valuable in your mind, you don't have to be motivated to do it anymore.
Correct.
Today, half the people on YouTube, Instagram for health, they're waiting for the next motivational video. They're just waiting for that. You know, people call me for motivational talks, and I never take those talks because I don't believe in motivation. I say, call me to inspire people. Because motivation can't work. It's got a shelf life. How many videos will you keep watching to go to the gym? So like you rightly said, when you make it important, and now the next question is, why isn't it important to you?
I don't know. Life gets in
Gets in the way. Yeah.
I actually get very motivated seeing your videos. Every time I see your videos, I read your articles.
All right.
I get very motivated.
Okay. So we need to move that motivation to inspiration because I want you to be motivated, but I want you to take action as well. So that's when it becomes inspiration. So now life came in the way. All right. So how do we set a mindset that, what is it that you want to do in life? What is the most important thing for you in life? Like the most important. What do you cherish the most? What is like the
Peace.
most important? Yeah.
Peace. Happiness for my child.
Happiness for your child, peace. Okay. Now, for peace and happiness for your child, don't you think it's worth putting value on your health? Don't you think ill health can be a burden on your child? Do you think it'll make your child happy to see you suffering? Do you think you can have peace when you've lost your health? So it's all about reworking in our minds. What is the most important thing that you like? So when I try to get people off smoking, I have one question. What do you like the most? Most married people, well, my daughter, my son, whatever, and stuff like that. So I said, why don't you ever smoke with them? I say, smoke with your kids. Oh, no, how can I? Smoking's bad. Yeah, so I said, you care about your kids, you love your kids. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I said, don't you care about yourself? Don't you love yourself? Why is it so different? So you see, the mindset changes have to happen. Make something so big in your life, like your child and peace, and know that you need your health for that. So what are the smallest things that you can do every day? It is not about extremes unless you have an athletic goal or a body goal, which is then you need to do, not extremes, hard work. For everyone else, it is the simplest things. The simplest. It's not a 1-hour workout. Today we know people working 20 minutes, but consistently is way better than people working out 1 hour, but missing 3-4 days in between and stuff like that. True. So make the change first in your mindset. Look at your values and ask, do I need my health for this? Now, if you don't need your health for any of your goals, and there's not a single goal that exists, unless someone's already like, I just don't want to live. But the point is, change the value proposition. True. That's the only way. Yeah? Does anyone else have any answer that they want to share their reasons? And you can say, sometimes you're lazy, you don't feel like working out. You can say that too, and I'll just say, don't work out. Get back on track the next day, right? So it comes down to simplicity. Yes, we have a question there.
Hi, my name is Danish. So I have my friend
Little loud, little loud.
Yeah, my friend here in college for 3 years, it used to happen, whatever projects, anything, all the work would happen after 9 p.m.
Okay.
So after getting out of college also, now that he is doing his masters and he asked my help, I tell him that now those 3 years are done. Now I'll do it in the morning with you whenever. That's the only way I've been able to change his way of working. So he gets up in the morning, then he's like, okay, now tell.
And does he feel better? Do you feel better with this change? So there you go. You made a change, you found out the result, and now you made a lifestyle change, right?
So,
and it's nice of you to encourage him into that new behavior.
So I remember those nights when I used to be with him, I used to be in absolute, like almost half-death situation sometimes, because that's not my habit. Yeah. And then sometimes then I think about how he does that every time in the night.
I'm still wondering how you're still his friend after so long, but that means you got a good friend, so you should cherish that, yeah? Now, thank you for sharing that, yeah? So, yes, we have one more over here.
Welcome, Luke, to Calcutta. I've been following you for last 5 years after COVID struck us. And one question for you from my side. I have been in a traveling job and it took its toll on my health because of eating out. So how do you eat healthy when you are traveling?
So again, you're not in control of the oil that they may use, so you can only make the best choices. I'm not going to tell you carry this, carry that, because I'm eating out almost every second or third day. It's not the best for us, I'll be honest with you. Come back to home food, that's the best. But you can always make better choices when you travel, and that's all you have in control. So you will make sure that since the food is not completely in control, at least make sure your workout happens. What I do. So I believe wherever I am in the world, there's 24 hours. So whatever I can do when I'm home, except the food part, I can do elsewhere. Maybe my sleep timing may change depending on time zones, but I'll wake up later. 24 hours in New York, 24 hours in Goa, 24 hours in Mumbai, I can still work out. I can still make time for my meditation or whatever it is that makes me happy. So it all comes down to, again, in the mind. Now, yes, the hotels and the restaurants, etc. So every hotel that you stay with usually has a buffet breakfast. That's when you can really make your best choices. You can have yogurts, and if you're non-vegetarian, you can have poached eggs, etc., fruits, stuff. Lunch, I try to do like a very simple steamed or whatever and stuff like that. And dinner's the same, because that's a sacrifice you have to make if you're traveling that much. If I'm not traveling that much and I'm staying in a really good hotel, yeah, I'll order all of my favorite foods, because I know it's just 1 or 2 days and I'm going back home. So it's really a mindset change. You can still be healthy, because again, remember, what do pilots do? What does cabin crew do? What do people who travel all the time do? Are all of them sick? Are all of them unhealthy? So we always have to remind ourselves, they're making different choices. What are these choices that they're making? And that's how we slowly build it into our life. Yeah? Thank you. Yes, over to you. Oh, one more.
Hi. So look, I would like you to give me a little insight on this thing, the whole talk about hormonal imbalances. As females, I happen to be working a lot with mothers. So I always tell them, I said, anything going wrong, you blame it on the hormones. So that's an easy way out for females. But is there a lot of reality to our mood swings, to our mental health, to our physical health, and especially this perimenopause phase of our lives? What is it like, a little bit on that, like, how do we really take this forward and, manage ourselves better?
So first, what is the definition of a hormone? A hormone is a chemical messenger in the body. Its job is to message signals to the body. So a woman going through a cycle, her progesterone falls, estrogen goes up during different phases, signaling the shedding of the lining, etc., etc. How is that monthly cycle and the shedding happening? Through a message. The message is conducted through hormones. So yes, it is absolutely true that most problems, including obesity, the inability to lose weight, this is both in men and women. A hormonal imbalance is absolutely real. So men also have something like women have perimenopause and women have menopause. Men have something called andropause. That is usually supposed to hit at 45, 46, but today with most men being unhealthy, it hits even at 40. So their testosterone falls. In perimenopause, your estrogen starts to fall. So weaker bones, night sweats, etc., etc., etc. But again, do all women go through difficult perimenopause and menopause? No. Do all men go through andropause? No. So again, what choices are each of these groups making? The biggest impact on hormones is stress. I'm a huge fan of equality, men, women, all sexes, but we are biologically different. We have to accept that. Equal for respect, equal for pay, all of that, but biologically different. So a woman, every month when you're going through your cycle, your body thinks you're going to have a baby. Your conscious mind is, I don't want to have a baby, I'll freeze my eggs, I'll do all of that stuff. Not you, hypothetically. Okay? Stress will hit a woman way worse than it hits a man. Which is why women will have a different set of moods and emotions, and men will have the total opposite. But when men go through andropause, they will behave in the same mood swings as women. They'll cry, they'll feel low, they'll feel like, let me just go and blow some money on a fancy car because it may make me feel better. They'll do all of that, hormonal imbalance. Chronic stress is the number one thing. Sleep deprivation, number two. Now you'll say, but Luke, mothers who are pregnant, feeding their children, okay? How come they don't have this issue? Because most women don't understand that their bodies are designed to wake up at intervals. It's a biological process. The moment a baby is born, there are hormones activated, but the moment a baby starts feeding, there are hormones that allow a woman to wake up every 2 hours, feed, and go back to sleep. Try waking up the husband that way. Impossible. Why? The husband gets the stress. Yeah, maybe he should try harder, but he doesn't have the hormones activated to do that. It's not because he's not interested. He doesn't have the hormones activated. So chronic stress has a direct impact. Sleep deprivation too. Okay? And then you got to look at the population of women who are going through difficult perimenopause. Look, what is their workplace? What is their role, position, stress? How much alcohol are they drinking? How much are they smoking and vaping? Now you put all of this in place, and there are some genuine reasons. They may have fibroid cysts, etc. Okay? So yes, a hormonal imbalance. If it's the chemical messenger in the human body, your hormones are either sending the right message or the wrong message. If it's the wrong message, it's an imbalance. So when most women start to, come down to a state of calm, start to whatever, everything starts to change. Everything starts to change. But early detection for women is absolutely important today because of ovarian issues, endometriosis, etc., fibroid cysts. But you're absolutely right when you talk about the hormones being this way. So that's how it is. So yes, everything comes down to hormones and messaging.
Brilliant analogy of the mother waking up every 2 hours and the body designed that
Yeah.
way. I love it.
Yeah, so that's how it is. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, it's already cutting close to time, and there's some questions. Some questions have come on the internet, on the thing. Dr. Shruti, who's a dentist, saying in an attempt to build consistency around healthy, necessary food habits, how do you modulate the psychic attitude to be able to accept it? The emotional regulation through junk is feeling overwhelming to control. Any easy manageable trick to begin? Because when you go out, I'm sure people love having junk food. They have the burgers, they have the puchkas, they have everything. So how do we balance it? Because once you get into it, it's very difficult. You just want to take a grab. Like suppose, you are persistently having a cold, but when you see ice cream at a banquet or something, you say, forget about everything, I'll just have it. So how do you balance that no and yes? How do you go about with it?
So again, it's different for everyone. Most people are slaves of their emotions. So once in a way, if you're eating junk, it's obviously not a problem. Once in a way, you're having the bad stuff. It's not a problem. Your body is smart enough to know how to handle it. The problem is when it becomes thing. And second, we have to understand that junk is made to addict you. So once you start it, you will continue with it. It's an addiction. It's like alcohol. People think one drink, and then it becomes 2, 3, 4, because it's an addiction. It eventually becomes an addiction. So the whole idea is when you're psychologically trying to bring balance towards these things, minimize it by eating the healthy food first. So you've given your body something good to work with, and then maybe have your dessert or something like that. The problem is when we're only giving our body stuff that it doesn't know what to do with, and it can't take anything to use for your health. That becomes the problem.
Absolutely.
And since she spoke about consistency, and she's a dentist, what's made her a dentist today? Because I know how the 5 years in dentistry school works. It's discipline. So if she had discipline back there, I'm sure she can bring in discipline in her decisions right now.
Our next question is connected. It comes from Sherry, saying, Luke, how do we ensure safe and unadulterated products and food for ourselves and our future generations? I recently came across a post on India talking about a person adulterating milk horribly. I think such people should be dealt with a harsh hand and not get away with it. So even if you want to have corrective, good food, it's so difficult. You buy the best oil and you find that it's adulterated. So how do people differentiate? What do people do? They go and they want to pick up the best, but unfortunately sometimes it's more harmful than a positive attitude in their lives. So it's so difficult to really know what you're actually having now these days, Luke. So how does one actually go about with it?
I don't have an answer for that. It's almost an impossible problem to solve until the government and the FSSAI figures out strict punishments or regulations. Because the point is, the bigger question is, why are people even making something like this? They don't value human life.
Absolutely.
We can't go through. There are some of the best companies in our country that are adulterating food.
Absolutely.
So the point is, unless there's a change in regulations, and I think the youth and the current generation, I always believe if you want to make a change, people have to unite. You can really, really drive change when you unite. That's when the people at the top actually listen. Otherwise, it's always divide and conquer. Look around what's happening right now. Everyone's divided either on religion, either on opinions. Everyone's fighting. There's a ton of hatred on social media. The top loves to keep it that way because then no one's bothered about the little stuff that's actually causing problems. It's diversion, always diversion. But when people start to really unite and understand that we are all victims and your children are victims and your parents are victims of a very adulterated food chain, air, water in our country, the three fundamentals that every human needs, you can't be sitting and waiting for someone to change a policy because trust me, everyone's tried it. We've tried it. There are massively, massively unethical people out there. My observations, and I'm sharing this, it doesn't have to be everyone. A product that is heavily marketed, be suspicious of it. Be very, very suspicious of it. Why are they so heavily marketing that product, blowing crows on social media, marketing, etc., and stuff like that? When you know something good, it doesn't need marketing. It's as simple as that. Think about that. Start supporting your local farmers and markets. They can't survive because of all these people that are come in. Start demanding on social media for the brand to talk to you directly, not through influencers. Not through influence. In fact, in a few days, you'll see, I run a podcast and we moved into a new vertical. We've called it the Honest Food and Lifestyle Show. We tried doing the verification of products. I'm telling you, if I have to list the companies that failed and offered us money not to publish their reports, we were never going to publish their reports. We don't believe in negativity. But the point is, you'll be appalled. So now this new show, and you'll see it. The first one is actually with an egg company after the whole egg control. We get the founder on the show, and we ask them to take a pledge in front of the whole country. Wow. So they put their face to it, their honesty to it. The second thing is we ask them hard questions, really hard, and the audience now decides what they want to do. And our last question is, will your company answer consumers' questions? Will you show them reports whenever they want, random batches, etc.? Okay, to be on our show, they need to do that. Now it's directly, it has to be a really, really unethical, shameless founder who will come onto this show to talk. This is one way we feel that we can, and what products are we looking at? Our daily products. I don't care about a ton of products. I want to know our staples, our spices, milk, eggs, chicken, etc., all of that. I just want to know that. Then we'll get into other stuff. But that's one thing that we're now trying to launch, and you'll see founders on the show talking about all of these things. No, Pink Tiger has not failed, but Pink Tiger is the company where we have tested the biggest brands and found the most awful things. And we've had brands that have come to us and offered bribes to give them certifications. So when you know that's the mentality of people, you have to shift your game. You no longer play in that thing. Or you find a company, a nutraceutical company, they'll give you 4 products to test, which will be clear. And then you test every one of the other products, and they've all failed the test. So we need honesty in our country, and the only way it can change is when we wake up, you message your brand on Instagram, and you ask for answers. Because everyone knows on Instagram today you can destroy an entire brand with the power of the people. So what I'm talking about, any revolution that has ever happened in the civilizations and in the history of humanity has been when people unite. The power of the people. Through sensibility, not through aggression, not through protests and all of that stuff. No, that's a demonstration of anger. It is through uniting. We want answers from this brand. Your brand will have to answer you. And then they don't answer you, you know what to do. So these are little ways we can do it right now. It's a big, big process ahead of us, but we're trying to solve it.
Amazing. And before we get to the last question, I'm going to do a little rapid fire with you.
Okay.
Ready? Women are smiling. They're most happy. What did Jimmy going to ask?
I don't like rapid fires, actually.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
Can I have the last question, please?
Sorry. Okay. Sure.
One second.
Please.
Yeah. Can we actually measure if we are chronically stressed apart from the cortisol if we get a test done?
The cortisol test is the worst test to check that.
Then how
number
do we
one.
know? I mean, I feel I'm not
so
stressed.
So number one, your sleep
Yeah.
will be disturbed. Number two, you're always on the go. You're always, whatever, you may have issues like diabetes, high blood pressure. You're snappy, you're angry, you're emotional. Not you, I'm speaking hypothetically. The things that used to make you happy now don't mean anything to you anymore because you're constantly in fight and flight. You're always on the go. So chronic stress can have an impact physically, but the symptoms, we already know it. We're feeling overwhelmed all the time. We don't want to listen because all the time our mind's working faster than, like our thoughts are so fast. So there are many, many ways to know you're chronically stressed. And then the physical symptoms.
So before reaching to the physical,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to...
Is the feeling. That's what I told you just now. Yeah.
Okay.
So it starts there. Those are the symptoms. Physical are all your lifestyle diseases that happen,
Yeah.
which are mostly caused that way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Every breath you take, just be calm. Luke is there. Trust me. So what's your favorite song?
This is why I don't like rapid fires, because I have so many, and I
Yeah,
don't have
but
that
you can
one
either
favorite song.
you can say a romantic one, no issues. I mean, the girls are
I have
smiling.
more of those now.
Yeah.
So
Every bet you take, no. Every move you take, I'll be watching. Yeah.
I would say that it's the hip hop one with Puff Diddy, but now
Oh.
that's not the best time to talk about that. So yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite dish then?
My favorite?
Dish, food. What's your favorite dish?
I love Indian food. I
Love Indian food. Any
Indian food.
particular dish?
Yeah, my Goan fish curry and rice.
Ah, one fish curry. And fish is very healthy, by the way, they say always. Your favorite movie?
My favorite movie would be Forrest Gump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why did the ladies say, oh? I mean, I'm just curious about that, yeah?
Yeah, I heard some guys also.
Okay. Let's get on to the next. What's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is doing nothing on a beach.
Oh, wow. Doing nothing on a beach. That reminds me of a drink. I'm not talking about that. Anyhow, let's,
Got it.
let's cut it short because we've actually gone over time. Beautiful people are here.
Yeah.
The world is watching you across digital pages. I would love you to give a message to the entire world and the people here. Anything direct, they'll say right from your heart.
I think, simplify your life. It doesn't mean you should have less and aspire for less, but slow down. When I say slow down, it doesn't mean give up your things. But, take it in your pace. Because the way I want to end is, I have the privilege of speaking to dying patients, because we look at end cases of cancer. The only thing they talk about, they never talk about how much money they had. They never talk about being a CEO, having cars. They only talk about love, lost relationships, regrets, and memories. So when these are the only things that a dying person is talking about, it is the most important thing that leads you to your end of life. So while you do everything, make sure that you're not compromising the most valuable things in life, which are making memories, looking after your health, actually doing the things that you want to do right now, not waiting when it'll happen, because nothing's promised. Tomorrow is not promised for everyone. So simplify your lives and understand that most people around you don't really care about you. So stop thinking about what everyone thinks about you, says about you. Everyone's so busy thinking about who doesn't like them for them to worry about you. But we think that, oh, I should do this, do that. Just try to be your authentic self. It's not always possible to do that, but try to lean back, because that's where you'll automatically find your peace and your calm. So
Well, thank you, Luke. That was truly amazing. We could have carried on the whole day. But I think ladies, come on, give a nice, Eden Garden kind of yell. Oh wow! So it was really a pleasure. Keep rocking, keep sharing, and keep making a difference to people's life, because I think the most important thing is health. And he's actually given us the pointers where we can actually move forward. And at the end of the day, I can only say one thing. It's you who's going to make a difference to your life. However much you go to the doc or wherever you go, you will have the prescription. But it's you who's going to make a difference to your life. So give it a thought. Cameras are up, ChatGPT. Someone said ChatGPT out there. Anyhow, well, thank you so much, Luke. Really appreciate it. It was such a pleasure. Thanks
you so
a ton.
much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Luke. This is day one, and what an amazing session to wrap up day one of APJ Kolkata Literary Festival. We were delighted with the conversation. I hope all of us take back something really encouraging and motivating out of this today. We'll see you tomorrow, day two, here at Oxford Bookstores. See you tomorrow, guys. Please join us in the morning. We have sessions starting right in the morning, going up till evening. Thank you so much.